What they say, they decided since it's Valentine's Day. you like that underneath, and it makes you really calm.
Sergeant, would you see if you can find the other members of the council? We have Mr. Alatorre, Mrs. Chick, Ms. Galanter, Ms. Misakowski, Mr. Wax. We have 6 members. We need 4 more for a quorum. The council will come to order. We have some presentations, so we're going to start with the presentations. But first of all, let me point out that this will be a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 12th day of February, 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. So with that, we will start with our presentations. I'm going to call on Ms. Galanter first. Sergeant, would you remove those people? This is a meeting to come. Yeah, you must go, so get, I don't know who Mike Musgrove is, but whoever he is, he's getting a lot of attention. Just a normal day at the city council. Ruth?
Here we are. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Friday. My mic's not on. Are we on? Hello? Are we on? Okay. Well, on a lighter note, Mr. President, it's my honor, along with a whole lot of other people, to recognize this morning Dr. Emma Lawton, whom I think all of you know. Dr. Lawton's been one of the leading Sierra Club activists in Los Angeles for longer than I've lived here, I think. Certainly you were doing it by the time I had gotten here and found the Sierra Club. He's been one of those environmental leaders who manages to stay calm, even when he's angry, to talk directly to the issues and to organize and work with people so that people who are involved in these issues learn not only about the issues, but they also learn a number of things we've all had to learn in our jobs about how to be forceful and persuasive and be nice at the same time. And I can't tell you, now that I'm an elected official, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, having been on the other side of the fence as well. There's a whole pile of proclamations here, and I did want to ask, since Dr. Lawton and I have worked together because of my connections to the environmental movement, there are some other people on this council he's worked with, also through the environmental movement, but because of the geography, a lot of his activity's been involved in the Santa Monica Mountains. And Cindy, perhaps you would like to join me up here. We have all signed this resolution reciting Dr. Lawton's career, none of which matters as much as his environmental credentials. I'm sorry, everything else has to go. But in addition to another commendation that Cindy and Mike Fewer and I are also presenting, we have here one from Sheila Kuehl in the Assembly. We have one from Deborah Bowen in the Senate. This is Sheila's. We have, how are you going to carry all this stuff home? In an electric car. We have Loretta Sanchez, member of Congress. We can lend you an electric car. Good heavens. We have Bob Hertzberg. We have, this goes on and on and on. I can't even read this one. What is that, George Nakano?
Yeah.
My Assembly member. I should be able to read that. Wally Knox. Steve Horn. You get around, don't you? And Jeffrey Prang, who many of you will remember from the West Hollywood City Council. I don't know what else to say except thank you for all the work that you do. And I know that your wife, another longtime Sierra Club activist, Dr. Cynthia Frumhoff, is here somewhere. Where are you? Do you want to come up here? And some of your other friends and colleagues. And we are all very grateful for all your work, and we are very grateful for the fact that your activities in the Jewish community have also been noted, and that through people like yourself and my Chief of Staff, Adi Lieberman, that there is now a nice crossover between activists in one set of issues and activists in another set of issues, and maybe it really will turn out to be one world after all. So I want to say congratulations and thank you again. And before you get to say anything, Cindy goes next.
Thank you, Ruth. I'm really glad to be here. As many around the council know and in the audience, the Sierra Club came through a major crossroads in the 1960s when they decided that it was important that they endorse and get involved politically in causes, that they weren't just going to be an environmental organization looking at leading trail hikes and the like, but really get politically active. And they suffered as a consequence of that, losing a tax-exempt status. But in Southern California, Emil has been the conscience of that politically active arm in terms of governing and interviewing candidate after candidate after candidate to look and see who and where someone might be able to achieve the endorsement recommendation from his committee, and then almost always from the club if that was so recommended. And he took that very, very seriously. He was the conscience of the environmental movement in the Sierra Club, very, very zealously guarding that. But as Ruth indicated, in addition to that, I think, great tribute, what he's being particularly honored for today is that he is the Southern California Jewish Environmentalist of the Year, and that is the award that he is being honored for and named, in addition to everything else. And I think, as Ruth also mentioned, that of all these things that he has done and his life's dedication to the environment, that he's most proud of is something that I'm also really sharing with him in terms of appreciation for his work, and that is his efforts in the creation and the working towards the creation of the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. And it truly is a tribute to the Sierra Club, to him, and to that continued decades of activism that I think we have all reaped some of those rewards. So, Emil, thank you and congratulations for that effort and those works. Thank you.
Now you get to talk.
All right. And I want to thank all of you for this honor and all these awards. I might mention to Cindy that Cynthia shared the award from the Sierra Club on the creation of our work in helping create the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. So this has been a family sort of a thing. And as far as the background for being a Jewish environmentalist, it was just been part of me since I was a child, and as much as my parents brought me up to be both scholarly. My father was a rabbi, but also to enjoy the nature and so on like that. He took us. He was also a former officer in the British Army in Palestine, all that sort of thing. So he was a doer and a scholar, and I tried to follow in those kind of footsteps. And enjoying for example, the Jewish holidays where we celebrated nature were some part of the family tradition. So this all fits in, and I'm just doing this because it is the right thing, and it gives me a good deal of pleasure, and doing it has been its own reward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take this. You get to hold these. Maybe go in the back.
Now we can say, my son, the environmentalist. The chair recognizes Council President Ferraro for a special presentation.
Mr. President, members of the council, if you know it or not, this is National Engineers Week. Each year during the week following the George Washington birthday, the City Council traditionally commemorates National Engineers Week by presenting a resolution to individuals representing our local leaders in engineering profession here in Los Angeles. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Don Clark, who is president of the Institute for the Advancement of Engineering. I'd also like to recognize the following people: Mr. Herb Cooper, the president of the College of Fellows; Mr. Walt Arrigor, president of the Los Angeles Council of Engineers and Scientists; Mr. Red Martinez, member of the Board of Police Public Works Commissioner; and our city engineer, Tom Connors. With that, Mr. President, members of the council, let me just point out some of the things in the resolution. Particularly recognized as the World Center for Engineering Activities and Accomplishments, that is the City of Los Angeles. The service performed by engineers continue to be important elements of the physical integrity, quality of life, and orderly development of the City of Los Angeles, making contributions to health, safety, and the well-being of its citizens. And whereas the theme of the 1999 celebration of National Engineers Week is turning ideals into reality, whereas the Institute for the Advancement of Engineers is selecting an Engineer of the Year and presenting a Project Achievement Award during the Engineers Week. Now therefore it be it resolved by the adoption of this resolution, the mayor proclaims and joins with the city council declaring February 21st through 27th as National Engineers Week in the city of Los Angeles. And I'd like to present this to Mr. Don Clark, who is the president of the Institute for the Advancement of Engineers, and I think they have some people they want to honor as well. So let me just present this to you, Mr. Clark. Oh, you're tall. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Appreciate it. Let's take a picture first. Mr. Clark?
Thank you. I want to thank the council, and we'll put this to good use. We need it, and we thank you for your help and your support. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce these people, and I think Herb Cooper and Walt Harrigan can identify the people better than I can. Thank you.
Tom, did you want to say something? Tom Connors?
Thank you, President Ferraro, members of the council. We all know that people are the heart of our great city, and I like to think that the body of the city is the body of infrastructure that we build, operate, and maintain for you. I'd like to ask some of the engineers that are here today to stand and be recognized. These people represent all of the engineers and scientific personnel, including our private partners that help build and maintain this infrastructure. The contractors, the private engineering firms, and your own city employees are responsible for the streets, the municipal buildings, the airfields, the harbors, the street light system, the traffic controls, the water systems, and the water treatment facilities, and the sewer systems that we depend on each day. I was recently cleaning out my desk, and I came across my old slide rule, and it got me to thinking about how much the engineering profession has changed just in the time that I've been at the City of Los Angeles. Of course, the slide rule was replaced by the pocket calculator, and then the computer, and now even more powerful computers. We do surveying by satellite. In fact, you can buy your own system and figure out whether you're lost or not for a small amount of money. We have computer-aided drafting software. We no longer draw a line on a piece of paper to produce a plan. We get out the computer and we produce it that way. So a great deal of change in the profession, a lot of new skills required, and a lot of potential for improvements in the future. One of the other ways that I recognize change in the profession, when I went to school as an engineer, there were very, very few females in the class, very few studying and graduating in engineering. Today we have a large number of women engineers who are contributing and elevating the profession and bringing new ideas. And I want to highlight this today by introducing you to Maria Teresa Garcia and Lisa Mowry, two engineers who are going to be recognized by the Institute for the Advancement of Engineering next week for their outstanding efforts on your behalf as two of your outstanding city employees. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. President, members of the council, thank you very much. Again, congratulations, and we appreciate the good work that the engineers do.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you, John. Thank you, Mr. Varro. Where's Mr. Alatorre? Where's Richard? Is Richard here? He's up next, but, okay, then we'll just, he's not here, so I'll take council. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick. Oh, there he, okay.
Couldn't get halfway up and not. Mr. President and colleagues, this very special human being standing next to me, Diana Brueggemann, who has been with me in a very key position in City Hall since the day I took office, is no longer with me and is no longer with us, the City of Los Angeles. She is alive and well, however, as we can all see. And she and I decided that we would wait a few weeks until after she had officially ended her employment here with us and started at a very wonderful place, the acting president will appreciate, at UCLA, as Director of Local Government Affairs, something that I think will very much not only benefit the university, but us. And thank you. I had meant to ask all of my staff, both past and present and brand new. I don't have any future staff members. Well, yes, I do. I do have one, except for term limits. But we decided to wait a few weeks so that I wouldn't get teary-eyed and that Diana wouldn't, and she's failing already. I've done a little bit of shedding tears a few minutes before I stood up here. And really not because I'm sad, because Diana is someone whose talent should continue to expand and grow, and I'm a firm believer in taking opportunities to move on to new and exciting things, but because it's a poignant moment. Oh dear. And because she's a very, very special person. And it's why I, instead of coming up with my very own words, decided to read a few things from the resolution because they will illustrate to you why this is a poignant moment and why she is such a special person. And what will illustrate it even more is when I am done in just a moment for you to listen to what she has to say. She will be greatly missed for her calm, patient, and understanding manner. She's always been available to lend an ear, to give advice and guidance to others. She is a loyal civil servant, the very best, always ready to go the extra mile to get the job done, and with a true sense of what duty is all about. She is the most effective, colleagues, you should learn her skills, recruiter of outstanding and energetic interns. And she is not only mothered two unbelievably outstanding children, a son and daughter, one of whom is here today, but she has parented dozens of interns who now all want to grow up to be just like you. And then finally, and maybe especially for me, her calmness, her balance, her sense of what to get all worked up about and what not has been an anchor for me. It's not exactly my personality strength. And so with deep thanks and gratitude and congratulations for moving on to something exciting that I think will benefit us as well, I present you with this resolution signed by the mayor and all 15 council members. Thank you, and upward and onward.
Thank you. That was great.
I'd like to turn the microphone over and then maybe let some of you make your comments.
They want to go first.
You want to go first? Okay. Yeah, you do. I thought I'd get a sympathy, acquiescence.
I just wanted to say congratulations to Diana, and that it's going to be wonderful working with her. Although UCLA is in Mr. Furer's district, it's right. In fact, we already started talking about related issues that will work very closely with the 11th Council District. But there's another special talent, and I don't know that, I think we around the City Council and in the city family are becoming more and more aware of it, particularly in the era of term limits. And that is the value that our council staffs have, particularly as we on the City Council look to staffs, people who've had experience around here. And Diana is one of those. She started in Councilman Wu's district and was immediately recognized by you, Laura, as someone who had value, had experience, had knowledge, had her feet on the ground, her head in the right direction, and knew how to get things done. And I think that more and more, as we look at council term limits, that valuable council legislative staff is going to become more and more important to those currently on the council and those in the future on the council. So I think it's a very, very special tribute to her and to the others who really are recognized for that, not necessarily partisan, not necessarily, although always loyal, really having a good sense of perspective that is an attribute not only to the council office that they go to work for, but all the other council offices as well. So thank you.
And Mr. Fury.
Thank you, Mr. President. For a minute there, Cindy, I thought you were going to be an advocate for legislative staff term limits, too. People are shaking in their boots around town. Jane was going, oh, my God. Listen, I want to say a couple of things. First of all, it's a real testament to the kind of loyalty and good feeling, Laura, that you've engendered in your staff, that around you and Diana are not only current but former staff members, which is very telling, and I think means a great deal. It says a lot. Diana, as you know, we've had an opportunity to work together at your everything that Laura has said, as well as being always exceptionally responsive and collegial to the staffs and other council members with whom you interact. With a really, although others aspire to that, I think that you really are the example of what it means to be part of a larger team trying to pursue an agenda that's based not only on ideals and principle, but also on the knowledge that if we don't collaborate, we won't accomplish anything. I have valued working with you, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. I already have 2 or 3 UCLA issues that I know you're going to resolve right away. And I just want to say congratulations on work well done and on a new challenge ahead.
Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Mr. President, members of the council, Ms. Chick, Mrs. Rugerman, we simply rise to say thank you for the long-term service that you've rendered, your memory, institutional memory, your manner of caring for the business of the city, particularly those council offices for which you have worked, has been important and positively impacted, I think, the work that we have collaboratively done on issues that affect us all. So I wish to rise and say thank you. You are a person who has heart and who has a heart, and I take note of that, particularly at personal moments of crisis that many of us have experienced and we share in common. Both Avis and I wish you well in your future endeavors.
And I'd like to join my colleagues. What you don't know is that she honed her skills on the famous Laurel Canyon Doggy Park. And anyone who could have resolved that could resolve anything. And it really is, Ms. Chick's loss really, and the city's loss really is UCLA's gain. And we wish you Godspeed, Diana.
Thank you. Well, thank you for those very, very touching words. I want to first thank Laura Chick. You know, when I was out of a job after the mayor's race, or the city elections in June of 1993, this woman said, sure, come on over, and allowed me to continue my service with the city. Being part of a team, as you can see, of people behind me who are just amazing. We work in a non-competitive environment, we laugh a lot, we cry a lot together, and it has been just an unbelievable professional experience. In addition to that, I've been able to work with all of you, as well as the department people over the years. It's been 10.5 years, and those people also are phenomenal. And I want to specifically point out the CLA's office, our legislative office, because these are the people who really made me look good all those years. And I want to say thank you to Ron Deaton and his staff for doing that for me. There were a lot of highlights over my 10.5 years, and the last 2 weeks when I haven't been at City Hall, I've been thinking, what were they? And Joel, you're right, the doggy park stands right up there. And the one we created in Laura's district, being involved in those things were great. I will also remember working for 3 solid years on the sewer service charge. Not to say it was a highlight of my career, but I certainly will remember it. But the real thrill, and my staff members always laughed at this, the biggest thrill of my day was answering the phones. Because when you answer the phones, you touch the public, you explain to them what the heck's going on around here, which is sometimes very complicated if you only get your information from certain newspapers, and you can help people access the services that are so necessary to make their lives function better. So you might wonder, after all this, why on earth would I leave this fabulous job? Most people presume it's about term limits. And to tell you the truth, it may be. I think it's kind of sad in a way that over the course of the next couple of years, I think you will see people who are very talented leave a bit prematurely because they know that there will be an end within a couple of years. And I hope that that doesn't happen because the city deserves to keep these people. And I would offer a suggestion that perhaps someone should be working on ways to keep this valuable staff with this valuable institutional memory here beyond the end of their boss's term limit. But really, for me, there was a different reason. I got an offer that I couldn't refuse. I'd like to introduce to you today someone who helped me decide to make the change. If you just stand up for a second, Keith. This is Assistant Vice Chancellor Keith Parker. Keith is from UCLA, and he was one of the people I interviewed with, along with his boss, Vice Chancellor Michael Eicher. And what was exciting to me was they told me that UCLA, while they are all over the place with health projects and housing projects and educational projects, they have a renewed interest in being more involved with local government, and they felt I could help them do that. And I found that exciting. And I realized I can still work for the city. I'll just be sitting in Westwood. So that's what made me change. So I'm not really leaving the city, but I'm going to be working with you in a different capacity, and I'm very, very excited about it. Let me just end this by thanking some people who are very important to me who've come here today. First of all, my new assistant, Brett Nyman, in the front row. If you wave, Brett, he has made my transition so easy. My dad, Paul Hissey, and his wife, Jan, always my cheerleaders, always interested in what's going on at City Hall. And finally, my son Eli, who's here today, my husband Jim, and my daughter Erin, who can't be here because she's at NYU studying. Now, these are the people who get the brunt of their mom having a great job. You know, dinner is not always on the table in a timely way, and sometimes it doesn't get on the table at all. And these are the people who never complained, and that may be a comment on my cooking, I'm not sure, but they never complained. And my husband, who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Whenever I wanted the remote control to turn to channel 35 so he could see how good I looked that day doing my job in the council chamber, or when I thought he really needed to see an interesting incident or debate in the council, he just handed it over. He's such a nice guy, and I want to say thank you for that. And he's very happy to have the remote control back. But in closing, I look forward to continuing very close ties with all of you, and thank you all for 10.5 years of a great education, a marvelous opportunity. It has been, without question, the highlight of my professional career. Thank you very much.
Great. See what I mean? Thank you, Mr. President.
Hold 1 second because everyone wants to say hi. And the chair is going to recognize Councilman Alatorre for two very special presentations.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. All I want is just some basketball tickets for the UCLA basketball game, but I'll have to stand in line. Her father is number 1, and I'll be number 2. Maybe her husband will be number 3, I don't know. Mr. President, members, today I have the great privilege of making 2 presentations, and the first one to a man that has brought more laughter, person that has brought just great thrills to people throughout Mexico and Latin America and in this country. He is a famous writer, a sketcher, a musical composer, a director, producer, an actor and comedian from Mexico. His nickname is Chespirito, which is a Spanish diminutive for the Little Shakespeare. He is best known internationally for 2 very famous television characters which he created. El Chapulín Colorado, which means the red grasshopper, and El Chavo del Ocho, a little rascal type character in Mexico. His television series have had top ratings not only in Mexico but throughout Latin America. He has made people laugh from all ages. He continues to do so in a very special way through a very successful ongoing theater play called Once y Doce, 11 and 12. He has played and has set all-time records since it opened in 1992 in Mexico City, and he appears from Thursday through Sunday and has been doing that for the past 6 years. You know, you hear about rock stars like Madonna, you hear about rock stars like Tina Turner. They're able to, you know, sell out large stadiums. Well, this man, back in several decades ago, he sold out the stadium in Santiago, Chile, 2 shows in one day, over 80,000 in each of the shows, which set an all-time record, and that's a very large football field. He has also packed in crowds in Madison Square Garden, New York. He has filled many stadiums across Latin America. Prior to his work in television, he studied to be an engineer. Now, from an engineer, he decided at the age of, I think, of 22 to become a very creative writer, which he is probably considered to be one of the finest writers there is. He has written for television, for radio, and for movies. You know, his name is Mr. Roberto Gomez Bolanos, better known as Chespirito. His wife is a very accomplished writer herself. She's joined with him, Florinda Mesa. She's a writer as well as an actress. It's with a great deal of pleasure, para mí es un privilegio, introducir a alguien que es muy famoso como director, como actor, como alguien que ha dado una vida muy buena para tanta gente, no solamente en México, pero también en diferentes partes de Latinoamérica. Quiero presentar al señor Bolanos, better known as Chespirito. Señor Bolanos, por favor. We're having his frame, but quería presentar este reconocimiento al señor Bolanos por sus esfuerzos, por todo que has dado para la gente de México, aquí en los Estados Unidos, como yo como México americano, pero a toda la gente por todo que has hecho durante su carrera. Muchísimas gracias. ¿Querías hablar?
Well, I speak just a few English, very, very little. I want to say, gracias amigos. It means thanks amigos. And I don't know how to say. I'm grateful for this. Thank you very much.
One final thing. Now, he is here, and he's been here since the beginning of this month. And he's appearing nightly until the 15th of February in a play at the Orpheum Theater. And my understanding is that every day that he has appeared, he has sold out the theater. And it's an effort to bring back life to the theaters in downtown Los Angeles, which we are very grateful for. Para la gente que está viendo el concilio, les invito al Orpheum Theater, cada noche hasta el 15 de febrero. Y quería dar mis gracias otra vez al señor Bolanos. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Alatorre. Call the roll. Yeah, all right. We're going to get officially in business here.
Alatorre, Burnson, Chick, Fuhr, Galenter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley, Thomas, Fornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 12 members present in the quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mr. Hernandez moves, Ms. Miskowski seconds. There's no objection, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Okay, there's no objection, unanimous vote. Mr. Alatorre for
Yes.
presentation.
All right, the second presentation that I wanted to make is to it's called the Candelas Guitars. And music is so much a huge part of our daily lives It makes us cry, it makes us laugh and remember certain times in our life. Well, for the past 71 years, music and musical instruments, specifically guitars, has been an integral part of the Candelas family. Back in the late 20s, two brothers, Porfirio and Candelario Delgado, began singing together in Mexico, and they were known as the Candelas family, brothers. They also began making instruments in their homes. The Candelas is credited by many as the creators of the first cutaway guitar. While their business grew in Mexico, they began to make guitars for such famous legends as comedian Cantinflas, for composer Miguel Ángel Aceves, for actor Tintan, and many others. It was in 1946 that they opened a small shop on Brooklyn Avenue, now Cesar Chavez. They also opened up another shop on Sunset Boulevard, and that was opened up by Porfirios, who was the son of the guitar makers. And his two sons, Tomas and Manuel, have now followed in the footsteps, and they have reopened their shop along Cesar Chavez Avenue on Boyle Heights. And this past Saturday, they had a celebration of 71 years in guitar making, 50 years here in Los Angeles. This family of musicians and artisans have continued to make fine instruments for many artists such as Charo, Jose Feliciano, Arlo Guthrie, Los Lobos, Theodore Bacall, Burl Ives and the Christie Minstrels, Pepe Romero, and the master himself, Andres Segovia. Candela's Guitar Shop is now in its third generation of guitar makers. Tomas and his brother Manuel continued the grandfather and their father's legacy of fine instruments. At this time, I would like to make a presentation to two young men that continue in the finest spirit of the profession. The great guitar makers, they have brought great joy in the music that comes out of these guitars by many, many artists here in the United States as well as in Mexico. If I could just have both, if they could please step forward and accept this resolution on behalf of the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, the president of the city council, and myself for the great joy that they have brought to so many, many people.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Who wants to talk?
I just want to thank the city for helping us in our relocating. We've been on Cesar Chavez for a little over 50 years, and Mr. Alatorre, Vanna, and Denise, through all their efforts, we didn't realize how much the city was there for us, how many things were available to us. We weren't quite aware that certain things could be done. They really helped us to organize our re-grand opening. Got a lot of people from the community and really in awe. They were just like, how were you guys able to pull this off? And we just said, I don't know, we got a hold of this phone number, and we met these three people personally, Denise, Vanna, and Mr. Alatorre, and they just pulled it all together. And we had people from Orange County, people from, we have friends and family from Miami that came and attended. We had a small little party of 150 people turn out to 400 people, and it went incredible. We had support from LAPD, the Sheriff's Department. It really blew me away. My brother and I were just, we're really grateful, and we appreciate this tribute to my grandfather, my great uncle, my dad, and you're really pushing us to work a lot harder for the next 40 years. So again, thank you. I'll pass it over to my brother Manuel. Thank you.
I just briefly also want to thank the City of Los Angeles for all the help that they've given us, and just as Tomas has stated, that our goal is to stay where we're at, to try to uplift the East Los Angeles and also the City of Los Angeles, try to make it an area that will attract more people into the area, and we continue to try to help the youth in the area, and our goal is to try to give back all that the city has been giving to us. So thank you all very much on behalf of all of my family. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Alatorre. Mr. Ridley Thomas, do you have a presentation? Mr. Holden, do you have a presentation?
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
I'm going to call on you, Mr. Holden.
Thank you, Mr. President. The distinguished President of the City Council of Los Angeles, I thank you for granting me the time to present to each and every one of you the Vice Mayor of the City of Gwangju, Republic of Korea. Vice Mayor Soo Tae-yo is visiting with us here in the City of Los Angeles on a mission. He brings with him a delegation designed for the purpose of bridging the U.S. with Korea and making us one, like from soul to soul. And so it's indeed my pleasure, Mr. President, to present to you for comments a distinguished elected official from Korea. He is from the same province as the President of Korea, Cholo province. I get that right? Yeah. Okay, fine. And I want to present to you the certificate of welcome. You want to say it in English? I already told him what he was saying. Okay, then you can.
Yes, brief remarks.
존경하는 존 페라로 의장님, 그리고 의원님 여러분.
Honorable President of the Council, Mr. John Ferraro, and the members.
본인을 LA시 의회에 초청해 주셔서 대단히 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for your warm welcome this morning.
저는 미국과의 통상 업무를 원활히 하고 유대를 더욱 돈독히 하면서 저희 광주시의 중소상인을 돕기 위해서 미국에 왔습니다.
He is in Los Angeles to promote trade and friendship, especially trade as in those products that are produced by small businesses in the city of Gwangju.
한국 국민은 미국을 영원히 잊을 수 없는 아주 좋은 나라로 생각을 하고 있으며 LA는 아주 다정한 우정의 도시로 항상 생각을 하고 있습니다.
When we think of United States, we always think in terms of friendship that'll last forever. And also, City of LA has been very good to Korean Americans, and we view that as very favorable.
이곳 LA시에 살고 있는 우리 60만 동포를 항상 보살펴 주시고 사랑해 주시기 바랍니다.
There are 600,000 Korean Americans in Greater Los Angeles. I thank you for your caring for them and looking out for their interests.
내년 3월에는 미술 행사인 광주 비엔날레가 개최되는 바 LA시 의원님들의 많은 참관을 부탁을 드리고 광주에 오시면은 따뜻한 마음으로 환영을 하겠습니다.
In March, they're going to have a art festival in the city of Gwangju, and if you happen to come to South Korea, I would like to extend a personal invitation to each one of you to come and visit.
끝으로 LA시 의회의 무궁한 발전과 존 페라로 의장님을 비롯한 의원님 여러분의 건강과 가정에 항상 행운이 함께하시기를 기원합니다. 감사합니다.
I would like to wish the city of LA much prosperity and good health to each and every one of you.
Thank you.
감사합니다. Mr. President Ferrara has his passport, will travel.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. The next item.
Required public hearing items, items 1 and 2 are testimony and comments on various street lighting districts.
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to be heard on item 1, 2, or 3? We do not have cards. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion on any of these items? On 1 and 2, there will be second hearing on February 19th. If there's no objections, we'll continue these items and the hearings until then. Item number 3. Is there anyone in the audience wants to be with? No one wants to be heard, so the public hearing is closed. Is there any discussion on this? All right, Mrs. Chick moves. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Next item, items for which public hearings have been held, items 4 through 7.
Any specials by council members 4 through 7? Any specials? If not, prepare the roll on 4 through 7. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Next item, items for which public hearings have not been held, items 8 through 14.
Anybody in the audience wants to be heard on any of those items? We have no cards. Anybody want to be heard? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed on those items. Any specials by council members? 8 through 14. 11 is called special. And 13 is called special. And 10 is called special. Any others? If not, prepare the roll on 8 through 14 with the exception of 10, 11, and 13. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Next item, Mr. President, item number 15 is public hearing on the Unified Charter Reform Proposal.
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to be heard on item 15? If not, we'll continue the public here. There are no one here, so we'll continue the public hearing until the next meeting. Next item.
Item number 16 on the continued agenda, committee report and ordinance.
Okay, Mrs. Chick called that ordinance special. Next item.
Item number 10, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden, you call 10 special.
Right, Mr. President, there's a state law which requires a certain portion of a development funds known as QUIMBY. It is tombstone legislation to be used for recreation facilities within a certain distance or radius of the development project. And Rec and Parks has been designating this money for certain projects within certain areas, but it's usually something for city-managed projects. So I want to know, how can we get around the state law, if that's what we're trying to do, in order to have the money used for the same purpose and under someone else's jurisdiction?
Okay, is there anybody here on this? Mrs. Mikowski, did you want to be heard on this?
Yes, Mr. Ferraro, this is my motion, and basically what it's asking is the Recreation and Parks Department and the city attorney to study the possibility of whether or not we can use QUIMBY funds the same way we have used Prop K, which is to come in with some joint use agreements where we find a school that might have some excess property, which would still be within the defined parameters that Mr. Holden talked about, that is within a certain mile radius of a development, but we might be able to use a joint use agreement where the school would get recreational playground equipment out of the QUIMBY money that then would be opened and available to the public on weekends and after hours in terms of the full public park benefit for the public. And I thought since we had broken that ground and created a new process with Prop K, that perhaps we could look at it under QUIMBY as well. So this is just asking for an exploration of that to see whether or not it can qualify and still meet the state mandate.
Okay, Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, I have no problem with the study. It may determine that we might need legislative authorization in order to grant Los Angeles this authority. So let the study go forward.
Okay, that's Let the games go forward. Prepare the roll on item number 10. Do you want to be heard, Mr. Hernandez? Your machine's not working?
It's just worked right now. I was pressing it and pressing it. Mr. President, members, I also think we should encourage the study, but I also think that there has to be, again, we have to deal with the equity question, and I wanted Mr. Fuhrer, who chairs Arts, Health, and Humanities, to have that understanding, because as we start developing these tools, what happens is we continue to create environments where it allows the areas that have open space, that have parks, to accumulate more at the cost of those areas, basically, who are trying to figure out how to develop something. And it's important that we keep in mind that we have to create a balance here in the city, and that should be the primary focus. How do we create open space and recreational facilities for a citywide problem, as opposed to, right now, I know that the majority of the Quimby funds have been happening in the areas of the suburbs of the city of Los Angeles, and that has created a vehicle for the areas that were built out decades ago not to get parks, not to get open space. And if we can use Quimby now and we bond it to accumulate even more purchases, we create the same inequities. Because what the Quimby funds will not allow is for the maintenance of these facilities and the cost of staffing these facilities. And that again will be at the cost of the inner city parks, at the cost of the inner city recreation center, and potential inner city space, where, by the way, a majority of the children of the city reside. So I just want to make it clear that in pursuing the study, there has to be an understanding of how can we use Quimby funds to address the equity question, so that when we're dealing with issues like raise the bar and gender, we don't just talk about only certain parts of the city being able to have women's softball leagues, because there are facilities in other parts of the city, if you're a woman, not being able to play because you don't even have a facility. And so I just would like to make sure that the report is amended to include a study as to how we could use Quimby funds to address the issue of equity. Thank you.
Yes, I want to rise in support of both the original motion and as amended, because clearly we have problems all over the city, slightly different emphasis, and perhaps a different order of priority if we're looking at citywide needs. And so I think we should all be very interested in how we can stretch resources, how those resources can be used to meet our most pressing needs, but also what I'm especially pleased about in Councilmember Misikowski's stepping forward on this is that through my experiences with Prop K projects in the 3rd Council District, while there's been, and unfortunately I think emphasized by coverage in the media, a real negative view on the part of some of our public on giving any resources that would be used by LAUSD facilities. And in the projects that were recommended, I worked very hard to move forward some joint partnering between the city and LAUSD, despite the negative feelings really that came from the citizen group that was making recommendations. And what I'm seeing in at least one of those projects, lighting at El Camino High, go forward, is it's a wonderful way to stretch the dollars and then perhaps to have dollars that also can be used to work on the need for park space in parts of the city that clearly don't have adequate facilities. So hopefully, looking at it from both angles, we'll come forward with some new and creative ways to stretch those scarce dollars. Thank you.
Ms. Galanter.
I'm glad to hear Mr. Hernandez's amendment, because I thought when I was just glancing at the titles on the agenda that that's what the study was going to be about. There are certainly problems in the Quimby Act. It was enacted with an internal logic that makes a lot of sense, which is that when a building comes in and a development comes in and is going to bring new residents, that the building should provide recreational resources for those residents. But as you point out, if there's no new buildings coming in, there's no Quimby money, and then there's no parks and we have an endless cycle. So I think part of the issue here, part of the study might look at not only how can we use the money more effectively and creatively as part of an overall pot of resources, including Prop K and other things, but also whether there are any changes that would make sense in light of modern conditions that would lead us to perhaps support some changes in state laws regarding the Quimby Act. And I don't know the answer to that, but I have a feeling that that may be a wrinkle we have to get into.
Okay, we have item number 10 as amended. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Now, we have an item number 11. Prepare the roll on item 11. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. The next item.
Item number 13, called special by Councilmember Savornich.
Yeah, Mr. Savornich, you call 13 special?
We made an error in regards to where DWP should report back. On the agenda, it says that we would like to have DWP report back to the HCR committee. It would be more appropriate for DWP to report back to the Commerce Committee.
Okay, is there any objections to that change? If not, prepare the roll as amended. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 16, called special by Councilmember Chick.
Mrs. Chick, you call 16 special?
Yes, I did. I simply wanted to point out, colleagues, what you have before you is unfortunately a long overdue but very common sense change in our process of attempting to collect fees and fines on properties that have been cited for a variety of nuisance and blight infractions in our various neighborhoods. It has been a very dismal attempt on the part of building and safety in terms of our success rate in getting property owners who have clearly violated our codes, ignored the fact that blighted property, as we know, can cause serious further problems in our communities, and are basically thumbing their nose at the city. By the time these properties are sold, they are often so deteriorated that the amount of money that is owed us is non-collectible. The ordinance before you now allows the city to transfer uncollected fines as liens to the county property tax rolls if they are over $1,000, significant amounts. The collection rate of these kinds of billings on the county tax rolls has been far superior to our prior attempts. So this is a small piece, but a significant one, of the work that your Public Safety Committee, as well as other relevant committees, have been working on to keep eliminating nuisance properties that blight and destroy and cause decline in our communities. I ask for unanimous vote. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez, do you want to be heard on this?
Mr. President, members of the council, and I don't know if staff's present on this issue. I plan to support it. I don't have a problem with it. I just wanted to go over an example. If we had a building, let's say that was in Westlake, Pico Union, and the building's worth was about $200,000. And basically what we're finding is a lot of those buildings are leveraged out. And so what happens, because of the reduction in property value, the property might be holding a $200,000 lien on it, but is only worth about $160,000. Now that's our problem property. That's our nuisance. So we finally go out and clean it up and basically fence it off and try and deal with a safety issue. But the lien holder is a bank. It's a mortgage company. And the mortgage company basically sits there saying, the city can't foreclose on us because If the city does, they have to pay us the $200,000 of our lien, and the city won't do that. So the bottom line is, we're going to hold on to this property till it appreciates in value for us to get our $200,000 back. I mean, we can keep it on the books for $200,000. See, our lien does not supersede their lien. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, and I would like to have city attorney staff present to comment because they helped craft this, and my purpose was to exactly address that kind of problem.
Yeah, because my understanding is what will happen is whenever the bank sells the building, their interest is their $200,000, and then if there's extra money, then we would collect our assessment.
But they have to pay their property taxes on an annual basis, and this becomes part of their property tax bill. But I'll let the city attorney.
That's what I'm trying to find out for sure.
Good morning. Sandy Thomas from the City Attorney's Office. This ordinance addresses collection of the costs that have been assessed on the property. So it addresses the if there's nuisance abatement costs that have been assessed against a property, it's going to be sent over to the county tax collector for collection. It doesn't address the question that you had to do with regarding foreclosure, but what it will do is give us an opportunity to be able to collect our money through the county tax collection. So it addresses the issue, but not the way you're asking about.
Right. So then if I don't pay the assessment,
correct,
and I, the lien holder, sell the property and get my money back, do I have to collect? I mean, I can sell it at a lower price that doesn't cover the city, and the city's just out the money. Is that correct?
I believe the way this works is that it's the county then who's going to be going after the property owner for collection, because you're going to be owing the money. The county's going to be the one who's doing the collection, so it's the county that's involved in it at that point.
And I guess I understand that part. The question I'm asking, does this lien supersede any other liens? Will it supersede a bank mortgage loan?
It's not going to change the way the law currently is for superseding a loan.
Yeah, so is it part of their taxes? Because if they don't pay it, can we foreclose for non-payment of taxes?
Actually, I believe it's going to be the county that's going to be starting the procedure for the process of collecting the money against the property.
Again, members of the council, I don't have a problem with what we're doing, and I want to support it because I think we have to collect these assessments as soon as possible. And then with the surcharge, the bottom line, we wouldn't have to be financing out of general fund or block grant monies, nuisance abatements. I'm not sure it's really addressing the problem. And the reason I bring it to everybody's attention is because my understanding is that what will address the problem is the change of state legislation allowing a nuisance abatement lien to have priority over a mortgage lien. See, like mechanics lien.
All right, Mrs. Chick.
Just what, first of all, I would like to work with you, Mr. Hernandez, to go after that specific problem and see, is it being addressed properly? But it's why I also said this is one piece of what a variety of committees have been working on, because the more we have delved into the issue of problem properties, the more problems we are finding in both how we've been dealing with it and problems in fixing it because of a variety of laws that protect, for some very reasonable and legitimate causes, property owners. One of the things that I know is helping to address your issue, but I'm not sure resolving it, is the problem property resolution team that goes in and looks at properties like that and then tries to work with lenders, the bank that holds the paper, et cetera, to make it back into a viable property that can be rehabilitated, rather than the demolition and the boarding up that often happens, that I think you would agree doesn't particularly help a neighborhood, certainly is taking away needed housing in many instances, and is a long and involved process in and of itself. But I'm concerned about the issue you raised, and feel that this doesn't fully address it, but helps in other areas, and would look forward to partnering with you on the rest of the things we need to do.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, prepare the roll on item number 16 together with the ordinance. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Members of the council, I want to point out that the Los Angeles Dodgers are changing their uniforms on their road, and they're going to have Los Angeles across the front of their jerseys. The Dodger team initially wore the jerseys during the 1958-1970 seasons. We hope that by parading our hometown spirit, we can foster a civic pride in this great region. And letter is signed, I'm sure you all received,
Mr. President,
from Bob Graziano, and we want to thank the Dodgers for doing this.
Mr. President, they look great, and it's a great idea, and I must tell you that my deputy, Greg Nelson, has been pushing them to do this for a long, long time. He's just a dyed-in-the-wool fan, and it was a suggestion that he not only made, but he sort of kept on it and wrote and pushed, and so he had a little part in making that happen.
Yeah, so, but I think that's wonderful of the Dodgers to do that and point out that Los Angeles is the place. Okay, the next item.
This is a time for comments from the public on non-agenda items.
Okay. Okay, we have Leonard Rose.
Yeah, this past 2 days ago, I was here to give 15 letters to every councilman, and it's very important. Need to hiring more bus driver and have camera and microphone to help the passenger and operator, and I got a 7-step about the bus driver have better service. Number 1, bus driver late sometime, most of the time. 2, bus driver need to be clean, trash and floor. There's some trash and floor need to be mopping and clean the bus, sweeping out. Then 3, bus driver need to be more courteous with people who is riding on the bus, even best friendship. Number 4, best service, helpful operator need more bus driver working as a team, work need more bus like line 76 where people wanted to go on time to go places. Number 6, keep people more safe riding on the bus, that way bus company not get sued in court. Number 7, have a camera picture taken who breaking the rules. Number how many a day and night, and I got 2 sign right here. I just read this sign right here on the bus when I come in City Hall, 484. A new mutual sponsor law, a $10,000 fine and jail term face anyone hurting on mutual bus operator or passenger. And then last year I read another sign say with handcuff, there is police officer riding on this bus. The another sign I got today is a job training to crazy out there, let us help you, job training and placement. Number is 1213-752-2115. This is a job training program. And then I got a small letter. We're here, dear Los Angeles City Council. Last Wednesday, we discussed about MTA bus, foothill bus train for safety to have better service than ever before. When operator and passenger who are on the bus and train, even cab too. We discussed have more job opening for driver and many opportunity job and placement with worker call in sick, vacation trip, day off, and appointment. Today, we need placement like assistant helper and new job training program, every job and new job in California. Like put the newspaper, wanted, and book, wanted, sign, employment office, etc. Enough worker to help not get behind on the job work. Like a surprise, the employees a surprise worker. If you have substitute and substitute worker as a team, you won't get behind. Last thing, but work as a teamwork is helping hand. that happened to me. I have a nervous breakdown in McDonald from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Work overtime during 1982, 1986 January. Even I work 6 days a week. That happened to me. Then I landed up to Norwalk State Hospital 8 times, 1986 and 1987. Now I have on 3 medications, have schizophrenia. My doctor told me I choose to do those overtime. Many are. He said you don't have to do those are, but I did. Even boss owner said to store manager, when you hire more people, he said very soon, when he get application in, he will hire. But he put not hiring. Even owner said to him, those guys working too many are, but they still here. And this happened to me. It could happen to anybody else. And a lobby area kind of messy, and so many jobs get behind on work, and people be late on different places and jobs. And it's very important that people need jobs for all main headquarters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Gracie Gray.
Good morning, City Council men and City Council men. I came here about 3 or 4 months ago, and I spoke about myself and my family not living on Cornish Street in Nate Holdings district. However, it seems as if we have been accused of living back in the apartments that we have been walked out of. I'm quite sure that if either one of you all was to run for a higher position, you would not want anyone to have you back in the lower position. Not saying that the places we left out of was lower or higher. But the thing about it is that we did not go forward. I had 8 brothers. I'm an orphan. Those 8 brothers took part in raising me and my sons. As of today, I'm still accused of being with a husband I have not saw since 1990. Jesus Christ said he's the way, the truth, and the light. No man comes to God except through him. And it's shown in a symbolic way how many people is walking that way. We just had an election. That election is just like the governor asked the people, who you want? You want this liar, or you want this so-called murderer, thief, adulterer? Oh, give us him. And the world is still in the uproar. My brother Charlie Taylor was accused of being a circuit overseer there in New York City, taking blood transfusion, which the Watchtower does not believe in. I'm not with the Watchtower Tract Society. You know, the wicked one is busy, and he sure does show miracles. He showed miracles with Jesus. Jesus was playing part the torture state. He said, my God, why have you forsaken me? But the wicked one has been conquered. I'm thankful to God for the endurance that he have given me and my family. No one gave us anything. No one gave us a lawsuit money or anything. And I'm sending a message to all the ministers, false ministers in the state of California. You should not only take the money from your members, but you should teach them the truth. Winfred Bocage have not got any lawsuit money from anybody. Joseph Egan is still in prison. This one here is walking around, and he will continue to upset some of you all. Here I have one of deportation, Barrington Anthony Gray. Here he was put on American Airlines, and his rap sheet is talking. Back to Jamaica in 1992, but he's back in the country. They said that he did not get on that plane, but the planes are still sitting, American Airlines.
Okay,
As I said, Mr. Ferrara, excuse me, sir, what address do you have on that card?
All it says is North Hollywood.
Okay, so that's not Jackie Goldberg's district. But yet and still I was accused of living at 528 North Alexandria. I am not there.
Okay.
And as I said, you know what? My God gets me up in the morning.
All right.
I try my best. I'm not an angel. I try my best to do everything right in God's eyesight because He's
Gracie, thank you.
removing the biggest leaders there is. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And I really appreciate you all voting against the slum landlords because time is at near. God is ruling and He's showing everybody that He is the God of the Most High.
Thank you.
Now we had a supreme. Now He's the biggest supreme judge there is. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
The public comment period is closed. All right, the next item.
Motions for posting and referral.
Yeah. But please, Gracie, that does not, okay, yeah, okay. Give that to Mr. Holden. Okay, the next item.
You have excuses on the desk. Council members Fornich request.
Gracie, you're out of order, please. Please. Yeah, I know you're a nice person. Don't abuse. Okay, the next item.
Councilmember Fornich requests to be excused Tuesday, February 23rd. City business meets council policy.
Unanimous vote.
That clears the desk, Mr. President.
Okay, I want to point out that we should not let these council members interfere with what we would prefer to do. So would everyone please stand? We have some adjourning motions. Members of the council, I'd ask we adjourn in memory of Bernice Kimball, who retired a few years ago after 33 years of service to the city of Los Angeles. She passed away January 27th. She and her late husband, Harrison Kimball, both were city employees in the engineering department. Both were active in the Los Angeles City Historical Society. They leave one son, and I'd ask that we adjourn in her memory. Ms. Galanter.
I'd like to ask that we adjourn in memory of Lori Severiano Stoddard, whose husband, John, many of you know from his years working in Mayor Bradley's office. Lori had a long and horrible battle with mesothelioma. She put herself through the lung surgery. The lung surgery worked, her lung was healing, and she learned on Friday, the same day that she learned her lung had healed, she learned that the cancer had spread to her brain. And they finally decided this was just too much to bear, so she passed away on February 9th, leaving her husband, John, 2 sons, Sam and Vincent, and her mother. I think we might all want to be on that. I'm sure everybody remembers John Stoddard from his years at the mayor's office, and he's really a wonderful man, and this is a very difficult blow for him.
Do we have call the roll? The council is adjourned.
You are watching LA City View, Channel 35.